That is beautiful. We actually managed to hit our 10% profit target. What is going on, traders? Welcome to this new video, a new week, a new backtesting session, of course. This time we will again be backtesting the continuation model on Euro USD. We will be covering the price action from last week. The last video I did was basically the price action from last week, but then the previous year, because a lot of people were saying, hey man, you're just looking at hindsight. I can assure you that I am not looking at hindsight, but of course I have been eyeballing the Euro USD chart because I'm actively trading myself. So in the last video, we covered last year's price action to avoid some skepticism. The results were pretty good again, but most people of course want to see the most recent price action on the euro dollar because of course that is going to be the most relevant when we are collecting data. So that is what we are going to focus on. The rules are really simple. We are going to try to catch continuation model entries in the London kill zone or in the New York kill zone, and we cannot enter any trades in between them. Now, if you don't know the continuation model, here is a little preview of that. If you do, you can skip ahead. So let us quickly cover the continuation model. We have 4 variants, 2 being a bullish one. So let's cover the first one right here. The main requirement for both the bullish and the bearish one is that we have established a clear trend. So the direction has to be bullish. In this case, as we can see, the direction is bullish. We're making higher highs and higher lows continuously. And then what we notice is that we take out one of the higher lows before displacing through that previous higher high with decent momentum. At that point, we will be looking at a fair value gap in a discounted zone. And this discounted zone is really simple. We just use the Fib tool and we pull it from the low to the high. And that 50% level, everything above it is going to be premium. Everything below it is going to be discounted. Then we look for a fair value gap to enter off of. We enter it. Our stop loss is going to be below candle number 1 of that FEG, basically the candle before the FEG formed. And our target is going to be at least 2R or the low hanging fruit. Now in another example, the other variant is going to be where we have a breaker block as well. So we have our bullish trend, our sweep of liquidity, our market structure shift with displacement. And then we notice that our breaker block right here is going to be in a discounted zone. When it is in a discounted zone, we can simply add our order at the beginning of the breaker block. And again, target around 2R at least. In this drawing, it would have been a winner, for example. But what often happens is that we will see some sort of unicorn pattern form, which is a breaker block and an FEG combined. And at that point, we can safely set our entry at the FEG as well. We know that is pretty high probability. And again, our stop loss is going to be below candle number 1, the extreme FEG. And we will target at least 2R or the low hanging fruit. So in this case, this trade would result in 2.4R. Now for the bearish model, it's basically the same, but completely reverted. If you want some more details on this specific model, I will link a video to that in the description. So feel free to check that out. All right, with that out of the way, let's actually start trading. The goal today is going to be to reach a prop firm challenge, which is going to be 10% profit. And we are also going to stop when we hit the max drawdown limit, which I believe is also going to be 10%. So we'll see whether this week is going to be profitable for the continuation model. Let's dive right into the London session here. Unfortunately, we already reached the end of the London kill zone and I didn't really see any type of setup occur. Right here, we could have noticed that this was a sweep of this swing high that we created and we displaced lower. But of course, the trend was still overall pretty bullish, right? So we could not really be taking any shorts at this point. And then right here, as soon as it started to become interesting, we saw that we started to sweep this high right here. And if we would have continued low, we could have caught a bearish trade. But in this case, no opportunities for us. So let's move on to the New York session. Just running through the New York session here, I'm really skipping price act, not really paying any attention to what is happening overall, because as we can see, price is super rangy. We don't have a clear direction. And at this point, the continuation model is just not going to be lucrative at all. Now it seems like we're starting to make some bearish movement, which is of course interesting. Lately, a lot of people have been asking me which website I use to get updates on economic events. And I would really recommend fastbull.com. On fastbull.com, if you navigate to the economic calendar right here in the top bar, you can see that all the news that is going to come out is sorted based on time. You can change the time zone to whatever you like. Right now, I will be using UTC-5. And then right here, you can actually see at 2 a.m. there was news, and at 8:30 there is going to be really heavy news, unemployment rates coming out. That's really useful. We know that at these times sometimes we can expect a ton of volatility. Other than that, they also have the impact right here. It is going to tell us which direction it is most likely going to go. Other than that, you can also tick the bell notification. You will get notified when the news is going to come out. I am interested in the unemployment rates. I will click this, give me a mention 10 minutes before this happens, so you can manage your position if you want to. Now, another really cool feature is going to be the 24/7 news updates. So right here, you can see all the news events that are happening throughout the world, which relates to the financial markets. So to me, this is really useful to actually journal this in backtesting and match certain price movements with these types of events. So if you are looking for 24/7 news, if you're looking for a proper economic calendar to base your trades off, you can always go and check out fastbull.com. As we can see right now, price is really starting to flip bullish. So I would be interested in potential longs right here. What we do notice is that we had a sweep right here and also a sweep right here, which was a sweep before the actual reversal started happening here. So what I would like to see now is one of those lows being broken and then have a strong intent to the upside again. Now right here, as you can see, we do sweep quite a bit of lows here, but it seems like price might not be following through to the upside. Another sweep, which if we look at this chart at this price action, we can see that price is again pretty rangy. So I believe that there would have not been any trade that I personally would have taken if we use the continuation model. Perhaps right here could be an interesting opportunity, right? Because we're starting to break out of that rangy trend that we have. We're starting to break up to the upside. We did have that sweep right here, which initiated that move higher, but this is after 12, so we will not be taking any entries. So coming into the London session right here, as we can see, there is some really bearish price action going on. We did sweep this high right here and continued lower, displacing quite aggressively. But I believe that the move that we made right here has been really aggressive, and we also induced relative equal highs. So at this point, I'm not really interested in catching a trade in our premium zone right here. I'd rather wait for a new potential setup. Here we also set up once again. This is not really a valid swing high to me. Plus we're super extended to the downside. So again, not really interested in that price action right there. Starting to see some really nice bullish momentum right here, which is nice. So I would love to catch a long, especially if we keep on respecting that Asian high that we put in. Let us see if we can get a strong and convincing move to the upside now, which is what happened right here. So this would be a spot where I'm pretty interested in a potential long, and this is going to be the FEG that is going to be residing within our discounted zone, but it is after 5 already. So this is not a trade that we will be taking, or we would be polluting our data. Let's see how it would have played out. All right, so just by following our rules here, as you can see, by not trading after 5 a.m., we actually managed to avoid a pretty quick loss right here. We got tagged in, price took out this high and then reversed to the downside. So again, right here, there most likely would have not been any setups. Let's actually see what New York has to give us. Ooh, this is beautiful, beautiful price action. As we can see, we actually took out this low and we continued to the upside. We took out the Asian highs, so again, no entry. And also, I don't think we would have been able to catch a discounted entry here anyway. Seems like price went to continue pushing higher, which means that we will likely have a higher time frame target in mind. So I'm still interested in catching a potential continuation here. All right, so beautiful sweep right here. And it seems like price is continuing lower, so it's also taking out this. Now, if we do see some follow through, a strong break above this high right here, perfect, then I would be really interested in a potential setup here. All right, so as we can see, I just pulled the FIB tool and I will be placing an order right around the 50% level because we do have that big fair value gap right here. And our target is going to be 2R. Price seems to be reversing quite heavily. We do not really have any price action that is indicating us that we can move our stop loss at this point. There were no clean sweeps right here. So I'm just going to let this run, and we are going to be entering spread hours soon. So I will skip through that. At this point, we're in spread hours. So I'm going to go to the next session, see what happens. So it seems like Asia might actually be filling our position here. Let's see. And there we go. We hit the profit for 2R. Let's move on to the next session. All right, so I just went through the London session and unfortunately there were no continuation entries. Every single high basically got respect. So let's see if New York actually has something for us. As we can see coming into the New York session here, no clear direction. It seems like there is a power of 3 play coming out, so I'm expecting pretty bearish price action at this point because we just took out all of this liquidity on the upside. So we had a really nice and tiny power of 3 play again, but as you can see, this is going to be considered a high, which we just took out, and now we're starting to displace lower again. As long as we have this New York low intact, I'm still interested in shorts here. So let's actually go ahead and pull our FIB tool already. And as we can see, I'm sure that price is going to move lower still, but I don't want to be left out of my trade if price does tag this fair value gap. We are going to target 2R, and if price were to move lower, we will of course target the low hanging fruit first. All right, so it seems like we get filled. And now right here, as you can see, we do get stopped out. If we would have reached that low hanging fruit right here, we would have managed to take some profits. All right, so it seems like we still did not violate this high right here, which to me indicates that price is still going to be bearish. We did induce a high right here, which we took out, and now we're starting to see this really big push lower. So if price could come back to this fair value gap right here, I would definitely be interested in a short. Let's actually set that position, and we're going to have to use a pretty wide stop loss here, and we're going to target 2R. And I just noticed we could have taken an entry right here off of this breaker block that we have. We could have targeted the low hanging fruit, which is going to be this swing low. So let's see if we actually missed a decent trade. And it seems like, yeah, this trade would likely not have worked out. Also, our stop loss would have to be all the way up here. So that's likely a trade I would not be taking, but no trades on this day. Damn, we're already Thursday and we only took 2 trades. That's quite unique actually. Let's see if we can catch anything on this Thursday. Alrighty, to quickly cover what happened here, I was interested in a short position up here, but as soon as we started to displace all the way down here, I was no longer interested in that. If we were to come back, it would likely be to liquidate this high. Now, right here, we do have a picture perfect continuation model setup. So we sweep, we displace below. All right, so right here, what we can see is that we have a beautiful, beautiful breaker block. It is kind of in a discounted zone still, but I'm still going to take an entry off of it anyway, just because I really like the setup here, and we're going to target 2R. Let's see if we get tagged in. Okay, let's see if we go back, because I believe on a brokerage account, you might actually not get fill here. I'd leave it up to you if you're going to count this or not. I believe that most prop firms and brokerage accounts, you will likely not get a fill here. I mean, overall, it's good, right? Like, it's good statistics, but compared to the continuation model, how I trade, the performance has been poor so far. It seems like the momentum to the downside has died. As you can see, this right here, I do not consider that as a continuation to the downside. I consider this as a sweep. And then right here, as we can see, we did close above, and then we have this reaction, which is not strong enough for me. Gonna be continuing bearish, so I'm expecting some sort of a reversal here, which we indeed do get. I see a sweep and I see a continuation, which is beautiful. So right here we have a sweep. Now we have the continuation, and as long as we leave these highs right here intact, I'm really interested in a position. Let's use the FIB tool here. It seems like we might be reversing. Place an order on this fair value gap, cover the low, and then expect that to be taken out. Let's see. And now we took out that high, and I no longer trust the position. And it's good that I removed it, because this price action is quite aggressive. Starting to get quite interested in this price action. We just swept this and had a really aggressive reaction to it. Right, so here we sweep and we have a really aggressive push to the downside. So this is a perfect setup for our continuation model. Let's use the FIB tool here. We can enter off of this fair value gap, and there is also a breaker block aligning with that. So let's smack on an order right here. Our target is going to be the low hanging fruit. In this case, what we can see is that we have these relative equal lows. So what we can expect is that if this low goes, this low is also going to go. So this is going to be the position. Let's see if we get a fill. We do get filled, and we get an immediately nice reaction. We're in the position, leaving it running. At this point, I would manage my stop right here, because if price comes back for this, we will likely take this out. So this way you can take off like 30% of your risk. Now it seems like we might actually not take out this low. Perfect. So that net says close to 3R, which is very decent. I was really interested in this sweep right here, but now we're just extending way too far for my liking. I already took out the Asian low here. I'm no longer interested in shorts at this point. And now, as we can see, the kill zone is over. So let's see if New York has something in store for us. Super bearish price action, as we can see. So that's the only thing I'm really interested in right now. We have our sweep of liquidity right here, followed by a strong push to the downside. We have this massive fair value gap, and we have this breaker block as well. They align. So let's actually use the point of alignment right here as our entry. And our target is going to be at least 2R, or the low hanging fruit, which would be a low that we put in. It seems like price is pushing. Now this is scary. We're in the position anyway. If price really starts chopping around here, I might exit the position because this is a really aggressive push up. We might not be respecting this. I think this could actually be news, but overall we can target the low hanging fruit. Let's see if we get lucky here. All right, this is a really clean push lower. What I am going to do, however, is I'm going to limit my risk. So I'm going to move my stop loss above this high right here. And let's see what happens. Really clean movement. And now we sweep these highs right here. So what I'm going to do is manage my stop loss in profit above this high. And there we go. That gets hit. And wow, that is beautiful. We actually managed to hit our 10% profit target for the week on the last Friday. That's just beautiful. Like this trade, 4.2R. That is amazing. So let's actually hop over to these statistics. All right, so these are the stats of this last week that we had right here. As you can see, we had an 80% win rate over 5 trades. And by the way, we do have a really big data set that we're building on this model. So if you are interested in taking a look at this data set, it's a really nice Excel sheet with all the screenshots and different confluences. You can actually get it for absolutely free. All you need to do is go to the description. There will be a link to a Twitter post right there. All you need to do is retweet it, like it, follow me, and then in the comments, you have to say, I'm interested, and I will DM you an invite to that specific Excel sheet. And there you will actually be able to have all the backtested data on this specific model, which will support that is indeed a viable and really strong model. So if you're interested in that, make sure to check that out. But yeah, these stats, guys, they are absolutely amazing. Even if that last trade would not have hit, we would have still made close to 6% in just 1 week. I mean, come on, this is absolutely beautiful, no? This model is really not failing to perform almost every single week. So feel free to check that out. Other than that, that was the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.